Hey everybody, one that always bored, never boring. Today we have one dungeon, one hero, and no chance. Because today I am running through DungeonQuest, the most hilariously treacherous, deadly dungeon crawl that has ever been devised. This is the 1987 classic original edition, which was a gift from my lovely wife for Christmas. This is a near mint condition copy. If anybody is looking into purchasing a copy of this game on eBay and would like a complete breakdown of the contents of the game, I can do that in another video. I have done that for Hero Quest and Advanced Hero Quest, just going through everything you should get and if there's anything that you can sort of safely live without or replace in other ways. I can certainly do a video like that for DungeonQuest if people would be interested in it. You can just let me know in the comments if you would like to see that, but for now we are just going to play the game. And DungeonQuest is really a little bit of a marvel. It's a very streamlined dungeon crawling experience. It's for up to 4 players. It does play solo, obviously. We're going to play solo today, but it is for up to 4 players who are playing competitively. And although the game has a lot of tiles and cards, it really doesn't have a lot of rules. And the rules that are there kind of emerge as you play the game. All you really need to know is that on your turn you can either move into an adjacent space or you can search the space you're in. As you search, you will reveal rooms and other activities and events, but you don't need to know what those are in advance. You just look them up when you encounter them, and then once you have encountered them, you'll know for next time. And that means this game is incredibly quick to learn, incredibly quick to play, and you can play it with anyone really. You can play it with the family, you can play it with the elderly parents, you can play it with kids, you can play it with gamers and non-gamers. The only thing to bear in mind is that it is, as I mentioned, hilariously deadly. You can actually lose this game on the first turn. You can be doing really, really well and then have everything taken away from you by a single roll of a dice, which means this is not going to be a game for everybody. You have to accept the game in the spirit in which it is intended, which is it's supposed to be unfair. It's supposed to screw with you. You're supposed to laugh. You're supposed to have fun with it. You're supposed to enjoy watching horrible things happen to other people and then groan and then also laugh when those horrible things happen to you. You're not really playing to win, you're just playing to see if you survive or to see what horrible things happen to you before you die horribly. For this particular playthrough, I have selected Volric the Brave. Of the 4 characters in the set, I think Volric is the best, and that's because each character gets 5 statistics. They have strength, agility, armor, luck, and life points. And Volric's best abilities are agility. He has an agility of 7, and luck, which is 8. And for me, those are the best statistics. Those are the ones that seem to get used the most often. So for me, it's important to have high stats for those. He also has 15 life points, which is actually quite a lot. The character with the most life points is Sir Rohan, who has 17. Volric's lowest stat is actually armor, which is only 4, but armor very rarely seems to come into play, so I don't mind having armor that low. His strength is also low, but I'm going to be giving him the Ring of Opening, which allows him to lift a portcullis once per game, and that pretty much offsets one of the main reasons that it's good to have a high strength value. So with this particular setup, I'm feeling confident. Each turn follows a very simple set pattern. First, the turn tracker advances. This is the turn tracker here. If it ever reaches the skull, the sun sets, and any adventurers left in the dungeon are doomed to die, to wander in the caverns endlessly as they are sealed in. After the turn tracker is moved, you either select to search or move. That's it. So let's get started and see if I can make it all the way over to here, where the dragon is asleep on his pile of loot. Because obviously, as in all good adventure games, the aim here is to get out with as much loot as possible, and the best way to do that is to sneak into the dragon's lair, scoop up some treasure, and then run as fast as you can. As we are playing solo, this should go through very, very quickly. I have prattled for long enough, I have delayed the inevitable for long enough. Let's get started. First of all, I advanced the turn tracker. You won't be able to see it for a little while because it's just off camera up here, but each turn that will be advanced one space down. And then for my first action here, I'm going to move to this space here. So I draw a tile from my bag of doom. And it is not a bad start. I have drawn a regular room, and I can tell it's a regular room because it has a white arrow. When I place this on the board, I have to place it so that the white arrow is pointing away from the space that I am moving out of. And you can see we have two routes here. This route will unfortunately lead straight into a wall, but we will be able to continue on this way, which is taking us roughly in the direction we want to go. After placing the room, you move your hero into it, and I should point out, you will notice that Volric is painted. These miniatures do not come painted, they come in blue as standard. However, the game that I acquired, the previous owner had painted the miniatures and had done a really quite nice job. And I'm very happy with those, and I am going to be leaving them as is. I'm not going to strip and repaint them because I think the previous owner did a fine job indeed. Having moved Volric into the room, we have to draw a room card. And it is a trapdoor. The dungeon starts as it means to go on. The trapdoor swings open and I have to roll a d12. If the score is equal to or less than my agility, I manage to avoid the trap. If I fail, bad things will happen. So let's see. Let's make the roll first. That's a 12. I could kid myself and say it's a cocked die, but it's clearly a 12. I have fallen down the trap, my very first step into the dungeon, and I have plummeted down a spike trap. Ouch. When you fall down a trap, the first thing you do is you lose d6 life points, so I'll have to roll the d6 for that. And then I'm at the bottom of the pit, and on each of my subsequent turns, I need to try and climb out by making an agility test again. And if I succeed, I can continue on my merry way. If I fail, I am going to burn hours of sunlight sat in the pit. This is not the way that I wanted this adventure to start. Let's roll for those life points. That's a 4. Could be worse, could be better. We move our little cone here down the track. 1, 2, 3, 4. At this point, normally play would continue to the next person at the table, but as I'm the only person here, we continue to turn 2. Having advanced my turn tracker, I now need to see if I can get out of the pit. So I roll my d12. Looking for a 7 or less. That's an 11. Fortunately, I don't take any more damage, but I do waste another turn. We advance the turn tracker and roll again. Come on, Volric. Agility is your thing. That's a 5. That's more like it. We scramble out of the pit, having burned a couple of hours of daylight. And now I can take my turn as normal. I should point out that it is possible to find ropes in the game, and if you have a rope, you can use your rope to climb out of a pit without rolling. For my turn, I want to move to this space here. I draw a new tile and it is a crossroads. This is a regular room, so I will just draw a room card as normal. But fortunately, there are exits in all directions, which means I can start moving away from the wall edge. It's usually a good idea to get away from the walls because, of course, it increases your chance of being trapped in a corner somewhere. Having placed the tile and moved, we draw our room card. And it is mercifully empty. The time tracker continues mercilessly, and we go again. Of course, I'm going to go here. As I mentioned, I want to get away from those walls. And we have a bit more luck. It is another regular room that indeed continues our pathway in the direction we want to go. We draw a room card. And it is the Curse of the Wizard. This can be a very nasty card, but in this particular playthrough, it's not going to cause us any problems at all. Normally, when you draw Curse of the Wizard, any corridors on the board will rotate, and this can mess up your route. However, We don't have any corridors on the board at the moment, so nothing happens. And we can continue with our next turn. Of course, I'm going here. Unfortunately, we have drawn a trap tile. This is bad news. We won't have to draw a room card, but we will have to draw a trap card instead. The game comes with a special deck of trap cards. We draw one of those. And we have drawn an explosion. I lose 4 life points and miss a turn. This is bad. I really am starting to pick up some damage now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm down to 7 life points. And now on the next turn, all we do is advance the turn tracker and then immediately advance it again, and I can start moving again. And of course, I want to move here. That's not too shabby. It's another regular room, and it is a regular room that, when placed with the arrow moving away from my current location, will take me up, and that's exactly where I want to be going. But of course, we have to draw a room card. Empty. Gotta love those empty cards. This is one of the only games where the do nothing cards are actually a joy. We advance the turn tracker, and now we want to head north. Perfect. Another regular room, another regular crossroads. Let's see what card we get. Another empty room. Things really are starting to go my way. I become nervous. Advance the turn tracker. Okay, this time I've got a choice of here or here. I'm going to go here. And that really couldn't be more perfect. It's another crossroads, another empty regular room, except this room has a door. If I wanted to, I could try and open that door to continue north. I could either draw a door card, or I could spend my ring of opening to open it without drawing a card. But of course, I can go this way, which is still getting me where I need to be. Let's see if my luck holds. And it does. We advance the turn tracker. That turn tracker really does move quickly. Now, I don't want to risk the door just yet, so I am going to move here. Now, that's not ideal. It's kind of going the wrong way. But at least it's just a regular room. Room card. It is a crypt. When you encounter a crypt, you have a choice. You can do nothing, or you can search the crypt. I'm going to search the crypt, which involves drawing from a small deck of crypt cards. And of course, there's a trap in there. Fortunately, this trap is one that isn't going to do much harm to me, because the damage it inflicts is d12 minus 3 minus luck. So, with a luck of 8, I shouldn't really suffer any harm here. He says, rolling the dice. That's a 7. With my luck being 8, I do not take any damage. Neither do I gain any good benefits. I just get to live another turn. We advance the turn tracker. Now here I have a choice. I could move. If I move, I have to move here. I really want to move here. Now, I can try and do that by searching in my location. There is a small deck of search cards here. Sometimes they contain bad things, sometimes they contain money, sometimes they contain secret doors. If I find a secret door, I can move to any adjacent space, so I would be able to move here. But it does mean I don't have a clear route back home. But let's do that. Let's search and see what happens. And it is, in fact, a secret door, which means I can move north as I wanted to. So I draw a tile as normal and then move into that space. Unfortunately, the one direction that I needed to be open, which was north to actually get me into the dragon's lair, is closed off. And of course I have to draw a room card as normal. And it is blissfully empty. We advance the turn tracker. Now I could push my luck and try and search again. And this is one of the elements of the game. All of the decks, bar the room deck, are quite small. And as you play the game, you'll get to learn what is in each deck of cards. And when you're playing with more people, you can see what cards they draw, and you can start card counting and figuring out the odds of something good or bad happening. You know that if somebody has searched a corpse and got the really horrible monster, you're not going to get that horrible monster unless the deck gets reshuffled. And the deck will only get reshuffled when you draw a specific card from the deck that says reshuffle the deck. And what that also means is I now know that the search deck has one less secret door in it than it used to have, which increases my chance of something bad. So do I really want to risk searching again, knowing that the odds of getting another secret door are decreased? I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to move here instead. Luck is with me. This is a portcullis room, but it is also a crossroads. What will happen here is I will move onto the space. The portcullis will close behind me. If I want to return through that portcullis, I will either have to roll a strength test to lift it, or I can spend my ring of opening to lift it automatically. The benefit, of course, is that being a crossroads, I now have a clear route to the dragon's hoard. But of course, because this game is mean, I still have to draw a room card. And it is empty again. I really did shuffle this deck of cards, but luck is with me for now. As always, we start the turn by advancing the turn tracker. And now we can sneak into the dragon's lair because we have a clear route in. When we do this, we do not have to draw a room tile. We will instead draw some loot. Let's move these dice aside for a moment. We advance into the lair. I have a little bag of tokens I'm going to reach in without looking and draw out 2. This is the handfuls of loot that I can scoop out from under the dragon's nose. And I grab myself some money, 280 gold pieces and 260 gold pieces. Not a bad start. Unfortunately, taking loot from a dragon's hoard comes with risks. So having done that, we now need to draw a dragon tile. We have a stack of dragon tiles here, and we take the top one. If the dragon wakes up, we are in trouble. If he sleeps, we're okay. The dragon is sleeping. This now gets removed from the pile. If I decide to continue searching next turn, this will be shuffled, and a new tile will be drawn. So obviously, the odds of waking the dragon increase each time. We start a new turn, and we advance the turn tracker. Now, as you may have noticed, the turn tracker has reached halfway. There are just 12 turns left until the sun sets, and I have quite a way to travel to get back to an exit. I am going to have to leave. If I stay, 1, there's a risk the dragon's going to set fire to me, but 2, there's a risk I am going to run out of time, and I would rather get out with my small amount of wealth than spend the rest of my life trapped in this dank dungeon. So I'm going to leave. I'm going to start by retracing my steps to this space here. Although I don't need to draw a tile, I will still have to draw a room card. And it's empty again. Right, I've got something to think about now, but first I'm going to advance the turn tracker before I forget. Now from here, I could use my ring of opening to open the portcullis and move back to this space. The problem here is I don't have a clear route back to here because I went through a secret door and I cannot retrace my steps through that wall, through that secret door. So instead I think I'm going to move here and hope that I can get a piece that will connect that up so that I can then run back this way. And luck is with me again, and in a big way in fact, because this is a corridor tile. The good thing about corridor tiles is you don't draw a room and you get to immediately move again. So having moved onto the corridor, I get to immediately move again. I could move here, or I could explore a new location down here. I think it's probably safer to stick with the devil you know, although if I do reveal tiles here, I might reveal more corridors, which will increase the speed at which I make my retreat. But I think I'm just gonna stick with what I know for now, so I'm going to move into this space. Unfortunately, that does mean I need to draw a room card. Empty again. The turn tracker advances. Pressure is mounting. I am, of course, going to move into this room here with the door. And again, I need to draw another card. And again, it is empty. The turn tracker advances. I'm heading south. We draw another room. And it says shuffle the deck and take another card. You know what? I'm not going to shuffle the deck, because almost every card I have drawn has been an empty room, and I'm going to increase the challenge for myself slightly by not putting those empty rooms back into the deck. I still have to draw another card though. It's empty. Advance the turn tracker. Head south. Draw a room card. Of course it's empty. Of course it is. Trust me, there are some monsters in this game somewhere. Turn tracker advances. I really don't want to step on that trap room, because there are traps that could, in my weakened state, kill me instantly. So I am going to head here in the hope that we can move around and find another way back to that tower. So I'm heading south. Well, that is certainly not ideal. At least it's not a bad room, but the routes are not going the way that I would like them to go, because I have to place it with this arrow facing down. I would very much like to place it this way, but I cannot. We draw a room card. My torch has gone out. This is a bad thing. Unfortunately, the torch going out is one of those cards that saps your turns and slows you down. Nothing else happens this round, but next round I will have to pick 3 numbers. I will then have to roll a d6, and if I roll one of the numbers I've picked, the torch is relit and I can continue on my way. Otherwise, I have to waste another turn and I stay there until I roll a number that I've said. So we advance the turn tracker. It is scarily close to the sun setting now. I'm going to pick my numbers. I'm going to pick 1, 2, and 3. I roll my d6. That is a 3. My torch is relit and I can continue my turn as normal. I am in a sticky situation, but I am going to head south, which will involve drawing a new tile. Luck is with me yet again as I draw another crossroads. This is going to make it possible for me to start heading back towards that tower. I am so close. I am sure this game is going to completely screw me over right at the very end. Of course, we draw a room card. And it is empty again. These dungeons are bleak and barren. We advance the turn tracker. And of course, I'm going to move to this space here. We are just 2 spaces from home. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. That's a problem. We draw a room card. And it is empty. Advance the turn tracker. I'm gonna move here. This could be a bad mistake. It's only a corridor. It's a corridor. And it's a crossroad too. Now, this corridor could have been really dangerous. I didn't really think about this. if those routes had been blocked off, when you step onto a corridor, you have to continue on to a next space, and you can't backtrack onto the space you're leaving. So that actually would have forced me to step on that trap. Didn't really think about that. Fortunately, there are other routes to take. And of course, being a corridor, we get to move again. So I'm clearly going to move here. That's a pretty incredible draw. If it had been a corridor, I would have been happier. But it's still kind of putting us on the right track. Unfortunately, I have to draw a room card. Empty again. We advance the turn tracker. If we can bounce from space to space without any delays, we're going to get out. If anything delays us, we'll be stuck. I could attempt to search for a secret door to push me through to here. But if I search and fail, I won't get out in time. I'm going to take it slow and steady to win the race. I'm going to head north and draw a card. Empty. Having advanced the turn tracker, I am going to head west. And I draw another card. It's a cave-in. Uh-oh. This is not good news at all. So with the cave-in, I have to pick a number from 1 to 6, and then I roll a dice. And if I roll the number that I picked, I'm killed, and it's game over, and there's nothing I can do about it. So, naturally, I'm going to pick the number 6 and hope that my dice rolling does not fail me and I roll a 1 like I normally do. That's a 4. I live. I am still alive. However, I do have to roll the d6 again and lose that many life points. 2. Not too bad at all. I am down to 5 life points. We advance the turn tracker. Volric can see the gates of the castle slowly swinging shut. Time is running out. We dash south. We draw a room card. It's empty! It's an empty room! On the next turn, we advance the turn track. Volric, Indiana Jones style, dashes out of the castle, out of the tower, just as the gates swing closed behind him. No extra time to spare. We were wise not to spend that extra turn trying to loot the dragon. We have escaped the dungeon. We have just 5 hit points left. We are not very rich. We have 540 gold pieces to our name, which really doesn't seem to have been worth the effort involved. I was incredibly lucky with the rooms. There were so many empty rooms. I was a little bit unlucky with my tile draws in as much as I didn't get many corridors, and corridors really can help speed you through the dungeon. If you get a series of corridors in a row, you can get to the dragon's lair much quicker than I did, and then you actually have a few more turns to grab some loot. In terms of a score, this is almost no score at all. Really, a poor show from Volric. He is lucky to be alive, but he was very lucky not to bump into any monsters, very lucky not to bump into anything like the bottomless pit. He dodged a cave-in, he dodged a few traps. It was a middling effort, but with a poor amount of cash at the end. And I am actually surprised to get out. This is a very dangerous game. You will spend more time dying than actually escaping. It's actually quite uncommon to get out. But there we go. That's Dungeon Quest. And I do love this game. I think it is fantastic. It's one of the only games I know where I don't mind player elimination, because the whole point of the game is to eliminate players, and then the players who are eliminated just get to stand and laugh at everyone else while they get eliminated too. And I'm very much looking forward to playing this with my game group. I think we will have a lot of fun with it. And I am indeed very happy to have this in my collection. Very, very happy that it is the vintage 1987 edition and not the reissue from Fantasy Flight Games. And I'm very happy to have made it all the way out of the dungeon today. But that is it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. And hopefully, I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.